Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Chris Paterna, Partner and Chief Revenue Officer at Compass. And this is Need to Know, our Webisode series where we dig into the industry news, cut out the noise, and navigate through the latest industry news. Today we're joined by Patrick Dingus, our Regional Vice President, joining us from Colorado. He heads up our business in the Midwest and is an integral part of our growth here at Compass. Patrick, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, Chris. Happy to be here.
Great. Today our topic is going to be automatic enrollment. This is one of Patrick's favorite topics, and he's really an expert here at Compass on this issue. We've broken our series today into 4 key parts. Part 1 is going to be just an overall general review of automatic enrollment. Then we'll get into the Secure Act 2.0 and how things are going to be changing with this giant piece of legislation. Then we'll get to a special guest and talk about a testimonial on how automatic enrollment works in real life. And then we'll talk about some keys to success, how to successfully roll this out to your company and how to make sure it's easy to operate. Now, please note, as we get into this topic, there's going to be many acronyms referenced. This topic can be incredibly detailed. We're going to strive to keep it as high level as possible and understandable and really simplify it. But there's a lot that can go on with this. There's a lot of details, so please, if you have detailed questions on your exact situation, please reach out to your team here at Compass. We are here to help. After we get to the end of these 4 topics, we'll open it up for Q&A. The chat box will be open, so you can enter in your question at any time, and then we'll address those at the end of the webisode here. So, Patrick, as our resident expert, let's start with you. If you can give everyone a quick overview of automatic enrollment and the different types.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Chris. Just a brief history. Automatic enrollments. It's been around for a little bit over 20 years ago, or 20 years now, rather. And it became more relevant to enact and put into plans through the Pension Protection Act of 2006. So, becoming more and more relevant. And as we'll talk about, later today, it's going to become mandatory actually for some plans starting in 2005 through Secure Act 2.0. So, before diving into the specific versions of automatic enrollment, the question I get often is, can my employees change their deferral rates? And the answer is, of course. They always have full control of their accounts, their saving rates. They can certainly opt out or change those contribution rates up or down as they see fit. So, again, the end goal of automatic enrollment is to improve participant outcomes, increase participation, saving rates, and as I said before, employee outcomes. That's our end goal as an industry. So, Chris, do you have any stats to share on the industry?
Yeah.
And some of those progresses we've made.
Just to give you some ideas, as of 2022, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, overall participation in retirement plans has increased since 2014 to now by over 5%. So that may not seem like a big percentage, but that's a lot of people joining and participating in the retirement plan world here. One other stat from the U.S. is that 42% of workers in private industry are now covered by a plan that offers automatic enrollment. So that's, again, a lot of people. Now, we also work with very large record keepers here at Compass. Some are great partners of ours. Now, depending on who you ask, their internal statistics report anywhere from 50 to 62% of all plans now offer some type of automatic enrollment that Patrick will get into here in a minute. Patrick?
Awesome. No, that's great. Sounds like we're heading in the right direction, which is fantastic, and it's working. So that's great. So at this point, I'd like to just dive into the different types of automatic enrollment. As Chris mentioned, I'll talk about these high level, and then we could dig into them as needed. But for all types of automatic enrollment, there is a 30-day notice that has to be delivered to employees before they are automatically enrolled. So that's extremely important that we're getting that done in a timely manner to stay within compliance. The first type of automatic enrollment is the most basic. It's automatic contribution arrangement. We call it ACA in the industry. Really just a basic automatic enrollment. You're putting your employees into the plan. They can make their changes, but it's a good start to the automatic enrollment world. You can add it at any time during the plan year, which makes it a little bit more flexible when it comes to getting automatic enrollment into your plan. The next version is called the EACA, Eligible Automatic Contribution Arrangement. This takes it a little bit further. It actually provides a permissible withdrawal period, typically 90 days, that allows employees to come out of the plan if they forgot to opt out, within their eligibility period. There is an additional benefit on the plan sponsor side when it comes to testing. I'm going to kick it back over to Chris here to talk about some of those benefits on the employer level.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. So when working with the EAC or EACA, if your plan is a non-safe harbor plan, normally your ADP and ACP tests have to be completed and refunds must be issued 2.5 months after the end of the plan year. So if your plan year ends December 31st, like many of our client plans do, that would be March 15th refunds need to be issued by. So if you're a non-safe harbor plan and you have the EACA, which can only be started at the beginning of a plan year, if you have this EACA, then refunds for failed ACP and ADP tests can be delayed up to 6 months, giving you much more time as a plan sponsor to get things done, get refunds issued, and prevent any possible penalties for late refunds. Patrick?
Yeah, no, that's great. And that's one of the reasons why we're kind of going in this direction here at Compass as well. It just gives you guys, as plan sponsors and advisors, a little bit more time to get things straightened out for tax filings, so on and so forth. So thank you for that, Chris. The next version, and my personal favorite, is called a QACA. It's a combination of the EACA with the safe harbor. So those plans that have safe harbor, it allows some additional benefits that you traditionally would not get in a non-automatic enrollment safe harbor plan. So again, the QACA is a qualified automatic contribution arrangement. This, as well as the EACA, can only be started at the beginning of a plan year. It can be paired with a safe harbor match, which actually has a unique matching schedule compared to a traditional safe harbor plan or a safe harbor non-elective. It does require automatic enrollment to start at 3 and escalate up to 6 at a minimum. There are some ways that I like to design it anyway to sometimes automatic increase creates some problems. It's just kind of a complex topic right now in our industry. You can start the auto enroll at 6, which I like, kind of avoids the auto increase piece. The biggest benefit, though, is the 2-year vesting schedule that you can place onto the safe harbor match or non-elective money source. As you guys probably know, it's traditionally immediately vested. So that can be a big, really nice tool for an employer when it comes to retention of employees to put that additional vesting schedule on there. So again, my personal favorite, QACA is a great design, in my opinion, for a lot of employers. Not for everybody, but it is certainly one of my favorites. So those are the high-level, automatic enrollment types. We mentioned Secure 2.0 earlier in the call. This is going to be requiring certain employers to put in place automatic enrollment starting in 2025. So for any plans that started January 1st or after with 10 or more employees, will have to put automatic enrollment in place starting in 2025. It will be an EACA type of automatic enrollment starting at 3% with an auto increase up to 15%. Again, the permissible withdrawal is there to make your life a little bit easier. But there's also some tax credits available, whether it's through the Secure Act mandate, so to speak, or just you want to add automatic enrollment. There's a $500 tax credit for 3 years, which is really nice. Helps that lessen the burden of 401k costs sometimes. So just wanted to throw that out there. Chris, got anything else to touch on there?
Thank you, Patrick. Yeah, the Secure Act 2.0 in Congress is really pushing automatic enrollment to the masses. If you already have a plan established before 2023, then you are grandfathered. You do not need to add automatic enrollment. However, any new plans after 2023, if you meet those requirements Patrick mentioned, you will need to have it. So it's coming, it's working. Congress sees these statistics, and that's kind of what they're acting on. But at Compass here, we'll have much more information coming this fall on Secure Act 2.0, as well in the coming years, and let you know what directly affects your plans and your clients. And please also check out our resources pages on our website for more information, especially about the QACA, the QACA, which is not only a great form of automatic enrollment, but it's the best acronym that the IRS ever came up with. So on that note, we'll get to our third topic here, is bring in a special guest. So we'd like to bring in Colleen Andreasse now, who is our company controller and our overall HR guru, and one of the smartest people that I've ever met. So welcome, Colleen, and thank you very much for spending a few minutes with us to discuss automatic enrollment, from your perspective.
Thanks for having me today, Chris.
Welcome. Now, Colleen, can you share a little experience? I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but we offer automatic enrollment here at Compass for our employees. So if you can share experiences and how things have gone.
Sure, Chris. We added automatic enrollment to our plan here at Compass a few years ago. We wanted to promote retirement plan savings to our employees and encourage better savings habits.
Yes, and was it a challenge, Colleen? Was it a challenge when we first rolled this out to the employees? And kind of follow-up question, how did new employees react when they hear about this?
Actually, no, not a challenge. It made things easier for me, and I think it made things easier for the employee. When I was onboarding and bringing on a new employee, I would walk them through our plan enrollment kit, which included the automatic enrollment notice, and then I virtually introduced them to our plan advisors. Our plan starts with an automatic enrollment at 6%, so employees definitely paid attention to that. Some will keep their contribution at 6%, others choose to lower it, some raise it. I think that once the employee understands the process and how they can make the change, they're comfortable with the auto enrollment process. Overall, we've seen an increase in participation since we started using auto enrollment.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. Now, last question for you. So we get a new employee onboarded, people are using it. So operationally now, we've got a lot of employees using this. How difficult is it to, maintain the plan that has automatic enrollment in your perspective?
It's quite easy, actually. Our record keeper provides some great reports indicating when the employee is eligible. If they make a change, opt out of that automatic enrollment amount, the report tells me the exact contribution amount. In addition, the payroll software indicates exactly which pay date the employee's first contribution is to start. So I don't have to do any data entry or manually figure out anything to start the new employees.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that. Thanks for joining us and giving us a little behind the scenes information here. So
thanks for having me.
We'll go on to our next section here, which is keys to success. And I'm going to start off with a couple things that Colleen mentioned. Number one, communication to the employees. That's one of the biggest keys to success. Not just because it's required with a 30-day notice, but if we can properly communicate to employees, let them know their options, let them know that they have full control and where to go to actually exercise this control. Is it a website? Is it a mobile app? Is it a paper form? What's the method of communication? What action do they need to take and when do they need to take it? Really makes things a lot easier. Now, the second piece, and Colleen also mentioned this, is create good processes, especially if you can partner with your record keeper and create an electronic process. And whether it's going to be, again, website, mobile app, many record keepers now also have the old school contact center where you can call the 1-800 number, speak to a real person, and that gets recorded electronically and fed back to HR, payroll, plan sponsor. So you want to make sure you have full tracking and you understand how to get these reports on a consistent basis so you know when people are enrolling, when they're making changes, when they're opting out. So if you have that good process in place, you have a clear steps for those employees to take, it can be very easy to run this program. So Patrick, anything else to add to these keys to success?
Yeah, I think the only other thing I would add is, 401ks are sometimes complicated, mistakes happen. But my point is fix them early, fix them right away. Let us know if you need help. Get us involved. The sooner the better, and that goes for anything as it relates to a 401k mistake. The sooner the better you address it. The longer you wait, the worse it's going to be. So just address those mistakes early. If the 401k becomes too much of a burden, as a reminder, Compass always has our 316 service that can help remove a lot of work off your plate. We can run your plan for you. So give us a call. We're happy to help in any way that is needed. So
thank you. And I'll borrow one from you that you kind of mentioned earlier briefly, but I wanted to bring up again. Anytime you can simplify the process, simplify the program, less room for error. So instead of starting a quack-up program or other program with a very low savings rate, and then we automatically increase the employees every year, eliminate that extra work, and let's start the employees at a higher percentage. So in Patrick's example, the QACA, the QACA automatic enrollment, rather than starting at 3 and doing the automatic increase up to 6 for the next few years, start the employees at 6. Eliminate that automatic increase, that extra work, provide them a higher savings rate, which is good for them in the long run, but it will also make them pay attention and make them take action and make a change if they feel that amount is too high or too low. So again, the whole point of this is to help employees save, make them pay attention, eliminate that procrastination so we can get more people covered and more people saving for retirement. So with that, we'll open it up, the chat box there, and open it up for questions from the audience. And we've got a couple here already. And so this first one I'll read aloud to the group, and then Patrick, if you want to handle this first one. So this is from Janet, and it says, we started the QACA automatic enrollment a few years ago, and they thought the maximum limit was 10%. You kind of mentioned 15 a little while ago, Patrick. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So the QACA cap, if you will, to the auto increase used to be 10, but that actually was increased up to 15 through Secure 1.0. So it's actually nice because it falls in line with the requirement of automatic enrollment through Secure 2.0. So maybe they were thinking ahead. I'm not sure Congress was thinking ahead that far, but it worked out nonetheless. But it is now 15.
Great. Thank you. And then here's a question we get actually from a lot of folks. Which version of automatic enrollment is the best? And this is kind of a loaded question. I'll kick it off with the overall caveat is that every plan should be custom designed. So there's no one right answer. Patrick, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's situation is different. So, what's best for the company down the street might not be best for you. It's a case-by-case basis. We're, again, here to help make that determination and work through that with you.
You can have the EACA type of automatic enrollment and add a safe harbor match to it. You can go to the QACA and use that form of safe harbor. So, if you're a small employer looking to make sure you pass testing and maximize your savings, safe harbor is always a great way to go. So, plenty of options there, but talk to our team. We'll help custom design it for you. So we've got a question here from the group, somewhat specific to a situation, but an employee receives a 30-day notice but does not fill out the form to opt out. I'm assuming here from the question they also did not go online or use any other electronic method of opting out. So this employee was automatically enrolled. 6% was deducted from their pay and contributed to the plan. Now the employee wants the money back. What do we do? And so this is a common question that we hear all the time. I'll go first and then kick it back to Patrick here. So if you are using the EACA version and you have that 90-day permissible withdrawal, after that employee is the first contribution's made, you've got 90 days to do a permissible withdrawal. So that employee can fill out a form and request their contribution. However, under the current rules, if you have an AACA type of automatic enrollment, there is no permissible withdrawal allowed. So unfortunately, it's too bad. The IRS says you as the employee have the responsibility, you received the notice, you had the opportunity, you should have opted out. So we can follow up with you more specifically later and dig into your exact plan document and which version you have. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Now, next question, Patrick, can you explain the QACA matching contribution again? It is very different than all the other types of matching, a little complex, and some of the options there, Patrick.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I might have skipped over that piece. So the matching schedule is a little bit more dynamic in a QACA type of arrangement versus a traditional safe harbor. The QACA is 100% of the first percent, 50% of the next 5 up to 6. So do the math, it's 3.5% match. So you actually save 0.5% versus a traditional safe harbor match, which is typically 4%, whether that's a stretch or an enhanced match. However, a lot of payroll companies actually cannot support the base QACA match, the 1% and 50 of the next 5. So a lot of plans we put in place straight 4 or the traditional safe harbor match, just so those payroll companies can accommodate it. It makes life a lot easier when it comes to those calculations. Good question.
Great, thank you. And here's another one that actually comes up, and Patrick, we were just dealing with this the other day on one of your, your plans out there in the Midwest. So automatic enrollment traditionally requires a 30-day notice, but our plan has immediate eligibility. What do we do? So Patrick, how would you answer that question?
Yeah, so get them the notice the day they start, and they're automatically enrolled the day they start. So that's the one caveat or exception, if you will, to the 30-day notice is if you do have immediate eligibility, you've got to give them that notice the first day of hire, and that does check the box with the compliance rules. So
great. And going back to the keys to success, it's communication to those employees. If you have a great new hire packet, like our controller and Colleen said earlier, she has a new hire packet. It's got the enrollment kit. It's got the automatic enrollment notice, the safe harbor notice, all the proper disclosures. Give it to them day one if you have immediate eligibility, so they have the information at their fingertips. So hopefully that helps. We've got a few other questions kind of along the same vein that have eligibility periods of less than 30 days, and this kind of question applies to them all, is get them the notice as soon as possible. If your enrollment, if your eligibility is less than the 30 days, then those employees need to receive that new hire packet with the proper notices day one, and then give them 30 days, to opt out or make a change. The other opportunity as well is to say, if you're going to be adding automatic enrollment, maybe you revisit your eligibility criteria. Obviously there's a lot going on with the labor market right now, but if you have different eligibility criteria that's a little bit longer, perhaps your record keeper or Compass as a 316 can help you properly track this and automatically send out the notifications directly to the employees rather than you having to do it day one and create more manual work for yourself. So a couple different options there. Again, everyone's situation is different. We can help you individually. So with that, we are approaching the end of our webisode here and spent a great 20 some odd minutes together. So thank you very much again for watching. Please keep your eye out and email for more webisodes coming this coming fall. We're going to be covering a lot more Secure Act 2.0 legislation and what's coming for 2024 and 25. So thank you again, and look forward to speaking with you soon.